tyrant is a child of pride, who drinks from his sickening cup recklessness and vanity, until from his high crest headlong he plummets to the dust of hope. Sophocles. Throughout 2021, we've seen the rise of a tyrant, one who was not elected, but was chosen by the ruling elite. For many, the rise of this demented dictator marked an end to their individual liberties. However, the crucibles of last year proved one important lesson. The American people cannot be easily silenced. And the more tyrants try to squeeze us into submission, the more powerful we become. As 2021 came to a close, we saw our demented dictator throw in the towel and admit defeat. In the end, state sovereignty and individual liberty emerged victorious. This victory did not appear out of chance. It derived from our Bill of Rights, explicitly stated in the United States Constitution. For this video, we'll examine how these rights came to be and how they set the stage for the fall of our tyrant. But before we do that, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and continue supporting the brave patriots down below. And now, a brief word from our sponsor, Freedom Hill Coffee. Owned and operated by veterans, Freedom Hill Coffee Roasters create exquisite brews from select beans, offering a wide selection of roasts and merchandise. Apply Constitution Vet for a 10% discount on your next order. Freedom Hill Coffee Roasters, supporting noble causes and brewing excellent coffee for those who love God, family, and country. Without any further ado, sit back, relax, grab your drink, and let's dive into history together. This wonderful scene was from the miniseries called John Adams. Here, we see the beginning of a schism that was created after our nation gained independence. A schism between Thomas Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton. Thomas Jefferson represents the side of the Anti-Federalists, those who wanted power to be distributed throughout the states, more power and liberty to the people. Alexander Hamilton represents the Federalists, those who believed that power should be kept in a single, strong, central authority, and less power to the states. While both sides have their virtues and flaws, a fundamental concept will soon be debated. How big will our government become? And how much liberty do the people actually have? Those issues would come full circle at the Constitutional Convention of 1787. Here, delegates would spend months creating a new constitution, one that would replace the failed Articles of Confederation. As mentioned before, this new constitution would create a schism or a divide between our founding fathers, the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. The Federalist view, led by Alexander Hamilton, believed that the power should be concentrated in a central, strong government. Now, to be fair, there are some powers that should reside within a strong central government, such as the ability to create a military. With that being said, the Anti-Federalist view, which was led by Thomas Jefferson, believed that power should be spread throughout the state governments. Now, to be clear, Jefferson was not a perfect individual. He was definitely a gray, complex character. However, he was a huge advocate for the concept of sovereignty and liberty. In 1790, a compromise was met between both parties. That compromise was the Bill of Rights. No matter how big the central government may become, the rights of the people will always be protected. Fast forward to modern day. Let's take a look at the rise and fall of our current tyrant to show you that no matter how big a certain ruling authority may become, the state sovereignty, the rights of the people, the Anti-Federalists will always win in the end. At the very beginning, the tyrant makes a very bold and federalistic claim that he will shut down the virus.
I've said it before. I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm not going to shut down the country, but I'm going to shut down the virus.
So he makes things very clear. He will take a big government approach and shut it all down. But what happens when states begin seizing their sovereignty and taking very anti-federalistic approaches?
As the way in which we're able to get vaccines in people's arms. We've been able to move that all the way up to the end of May to have enough for every American, to get every adult American to get a shot. And the last thing we need is the Neanderthal thinking that in the meantime, everything's fine, take off your mask, forget it.
So this federalistic president makes it very clear that states seizing their sovereignty is simply Neanderthal thinking. Now on to the most important moment, where a federalistic president becomes a full-blown fascist tyrant.
This is not about freedom or personal choice. It's about protecting yourself and those around you, the people you work with, the people you care about, the people you love.
As Nietzsche quoted, the moment a society chooses safety over liberty, the society crumbles. And now the moment of triumph. A recent piece of evidence that shows this federalistic dictator, this tyrant, officially throwing in the towel and giving power back to where it belongs, the states and the people.
For your team is that as you look towards federal solutions that will help alleviate the challenge, make sure that we do not let federal solutions stand in the way of state solutions. And the production of 500 million rapid tests that will be distributed by the federal government is great, but obviously that dries up the supply chain for the solutions that we might offer as governor. And so just that a brief comment before I turn it over to you, Mr. President, but I want to say personally, I've enjoyed working with you when I was in Congress as head of the DEA, and I appreciate your leadership. And thank you so much for giving us the time today to hear from us, but also so that we can hear from you personally about the challenge that we face. So, Mr. President, the microphone is yours. Thank you, President Biden.
I said, thank you very much, Ace. Look, there is no federal solution. This gets solved at a state level. I'm looking at Governor Sununu on the board here. He talks about that a lot. And it ultimately gets down to where the rubber meets the road, and that's where the patient is in need of help or preventing the need for help.
What did you just say?
I said, thank you very much, Ace. Look, there is no federal solution.
When the President of the United States says that there is no federal solution, that's a big deal. That person is throwing in the towel and admitting defeat. What's even better is this is coming from a despotic dictator, a tyrant. Let's go back for a second. Before, you said states thinking for themselves was Neanderthal thinking. Then you created these mandates forcing Americans to comply. Then you said everyone must be safe. It's not about freedom or personal choice. You must comply, even though there's still no executive order detailing that. And now here we are, the tyrant in chief admitting there is no federal solution. He's done, my brave patriots. It's over. State sovereignty and individual liberty did not coalesce out of the ether. It was kindled in 1790 by the likes of Thomas Jefferson, Samuel Adams, and Patrick Henry. The fire of these anti-federalists continue to blaze throughout our red-pilled society. This new year, take heart and know that tyrants in this country will eventually crumble and fall. As we have seen in the first year of this tyrant's administration, he's given up. He's thrown in the towel, and the anti-federalists win. never surrender, never submit. This is Constitution Vet, signing out.